how can you let that boy up there on that stage, he's out of control. He's going to steal the show. I said, if that kid can steal the show from me, go for it.
I remember that, Todd. Wow.
And again,
he's 30 now.
Yeah, he's 30 now, and he still can't steal the show from me.
I'm Jimmy Bruce, president of Eastern Gateway Community College. We're proud to sponsor this thought-provoking interview series with community leaders who, through perseverance and determination, are being who they want to be and making a difference in the Mahoning Valley.
We are joined by Todd Hancock and Maureen Collins, founders of Easy Street Productions. You all have a big weekend coming up, over 30 years.
Yes, it's a big weekend.
It's a miracle.
In every sense of the word. I mean, we've been doing this Christmas show. It started out very small. Back in the old days, some of your viewers may remember the Uptown Theater when we were there 30 years ago. We were doing a little show called Pump Boys and Dinettes, which caught on, and we ended up running that show for 2 years. And the first Christmas that came about, a lot of people were saying, how long can people, come back to Pump Boys and Dinettes? I mean, and this was when we were just running it in the weeks, and now we were into a couple of months. And we said, well, maybe we should think of some shows to go along with Pump Boys.
Right.
And so that first year we did a Halloween show called the Monster Mash Bash, which we still have people asking us, when are you going to bring back the Monster Mash Bash? But we also did a Christmas show and a New Year's Eve show that year, just to give someone that saw Pump Boys a chance to come back and see something new. And we called it Yule Time at the Uptown. But it really was Miracle on Easy Street, because so many of the things that we put in that show, even though it was just the cast members of Pump Boys and Dinettes doing it, are still in the show today.
Yes, they are.
Maureen brings kids out of the audience. We did that, 30 years ago, and she still does. It's one of the big photo ops of the show.
So how many performers for that first show versus how many performers are on stage?
You wanna hit
Well, the cast of Pump Boys and Dinettes was the 6 of us, plus a few other of our good friends who could sing, and we brought them up, and now...
And the musicians too.
We had musicians for that too. So from a cast of maybe 14.
No, not even that. Probably 9 or 10.
9 or 10.
Yeah.
To now we have our 8 musicians, 6 singers, 104 Little Rascals. We do that in 2 casts. The dancers, 67 of them this year. It's huge.
So over 200 people?
Close to 200.
200 probably
when you add
working.
in the technicians and stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
It's about as big as a production as you could do.
So when does planning start for this, and what does that all entail in terms of auditions, in terms of... I mean, it's got to be a pretty smooth process.
Well, I wouldn't say it was a smooth process.
Right. We've gotten, the beautiful thing about it is that we've gotten better at it each year. So going into just the planning stuff, I know Todd and I, with the little jobs, all the things we have to do, casting my rascals, these kids I meet all year long in my workshops and give them an opportunity. All of them do the workshops to be in Miracle on Easy Street. Trust me. And many of them, their parents want them up there so bad. So this is how then the process begins. I start selecting kids. Todd is working year-round on this show, really, just making sure everything's in line for, he does all the advertising, all the, he puts together all the plans for when are things coming in, and he's working with the technical side. Pretty much, right after we finish, they talk about next year, when is it,
Yeah, and certainly over the summer is when, like the backdrops and the things have to be ordered, so you have to kind of be on top of that stuff. And then, we go over planning with Event 42 Event Production, who does all the lighting and the sound for us, so we make sure that everybody's on board there. And then Megan Cleland, who really does the heavy lifting in this show, because she's got, all of the choreography. And this show is it's all singing, all dancing. I mean, it's not like it's a play or anything. I mean, it's just one song after another. And so she comes in the summer. She lives in Nashville. She flies back and forth, drives back and forth, does auditions in usually late July or August. And the dance rehearsals start in September. So
they've been going every weekend because she can only come home on weekends. So those 67 kids have been coming since
And they're
September.
marathon rehearsals. She'll come in for the weekend. She'll come in at 8 in the morning and then be not leaving at 9 o'clock at night. I mean, it's all day long.
Right.
And,
So if you came to the show last year, how does it change each year? How will it change? Does the choreography change?
I think the neat thing to me, Megan is always fine-tuning her stuff, you know, but the neat thing to me is that it does change every year because the kids change.
Right.
And they get older. Like even a kid who's been in there since they were a mini rascal, and those kids are 4 years old. I'm the only person that'll ever take a child that young. And they're up there doing their hippopotamus. Well, you'll notice the next year, they're the leader up there. The first year, they're like hippopotamus. Now they're like, so watching them, for me, I'm getting little goosebumps because just watching these young people come up through the ranks and then they become a big rascal and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, how I would feel if I got cast in a Broadway show. I'm not kidding. These kids are so thrilled and excited to be a part of this show. And that's how I meter it. That keeps me like, wow. I remember when that face, and we'll see old ads, and there's that little rascal that's only that old, and now they're, you know, in 8th grade on their way out the door, because we keep them until they're about 8th grade.
What does it mean to you when you sit here and think that people have supported this for 30 years? When you think back, I mean, like, it has to be, wow. I mean, and why is it such an evergreen and a tradition here in the Valley?
I try to explain to people that for me, as you grow old, the most important part of it is knowing how you have touched people's lives. I mean, what better legacy do you leave to this community than a show like this? That, you know, for a long time, people would always be saying to us, what are you doing here? Now, don't leave, which I love, because at the beginning, remember, it's like,
it's like,
you two should be in New York, whatever. You know, oh, you just want to be the big fish in the little pond, that kind of stuff. Now, it's so heartwarming when people are like, oh, please don't leave. And I get that a lot with the little kids because parents are like, you inspire my child so much, they'd love to come to you. And for me, if a kid comes through that door for practice and they're attached to me and their parents are like, wow, because their kids aren't like that. And that's being able to make a difference.
I wish I was that age and was exposed to this kind of thing when I wasn't. I was the show off in school. I was always in trouble, in detention, like pounding erasers or whatever. I had no real outlet for that. And even if there were outlets, I didn't know about them or I wasn't exposed to them. So I'm happy when I see these kids. Like, I mean, I'm going back decades now, just thinking about all the kids that have come up and are doing it and maybe in New York or in Nashville or in Los Angeles. But I remember one person saying, there was this show-off kid that reminded me of me when I was little, and they're like, how can you let that boy up there on that stage? He's out of control. He's going to steal the show. I said, if that kid can steal the show from me, go for it.
I remember that, Todd. Wow.
And again,
he's 30 now.
Yeah, he's 30 now, and he still can't steal the show from me.
Where can people get tickets?
Well, it's easy. The easiest way to get tickets for Miracle on Easy Street, we've got 4 performances. It opens on Friday the 13th of all things.
Oh my gosh,
our
I
lucky
didn't
day.
realize that.
But we've got a Friday night show at 7:30. Saturday we have 2 shows, a 2:30 matinee and a 7:30 show. Sunday the 15th we close it up with a matinee. You just go online to the Youngstown Symphony website, which is youngstownsymphony.com. You can pull up the seating chart, pick the seats out that you want, just buy them right there. That's the easy way. If you like talking to human beings on the phone, and I know that's always nice to actually speak to someone, they are in the box office from 10 to 3 at the Dior, and you can call them at 330-744-0264.
I'm Jimmy Bruce, president of Eastern Gateway Community College. We're proud to sponsor this thought-provoking interview series with community leaders who, through perseverance and determination, are being who they want to be and making a difference in the Mahoning Valley.